Right, so the next one is against round 4. It is round 4 rather. It's against Kieron Paradigm, Hydreigon, Talonflame, Venusaur, Rotom Wash, Terrakion, and Aegislash. So once again, I just went for the standard lead. My standard lead, anyway. It's just the safest lead combination I've got, to be honest. Kangaskhan can always fake something out, and nothing can knock Suicune out in one go. So yeah, it's pretty bloody safe. So first turn, they fake out onto no one because of Quick Guard, which I completely forgot about. I haven't seen a Terrakion in so long. There is a Thunderbolt from Rotom, which I'm pretty confident about surviving, but it does so much damage because this is a Life Orb Rotom, which complicates things a little. I do get the Tailwind up though, as you can see. It's just pretty bulky beast. Next turn, Terrakion Protect, but it fails after the Quick Guard. I think the guy forgot the Quick Guard affected Protect there. I certainly would have forgotten, I think, in that situation. So that was a little unfortunate on his end. Now, I do knock that Terrakion out straight away. And the Scold from Suicune is just the most powerful move there. It was actually aimed at the Terrakion. I'm thinking if I don't knock it out, I will with this. And the Thunderbolt knocks out Suicune, so just 1-1 now, pretty much. Well, I have got the burn there, which is quite nice. Especially with that Life Orb damage racking up as well. So in comes Hydreigon, so I want to make use of that Tailwind, and in comes his Venusaur. Which is a bloody good Pokemon, Venusaur. Really good. I think one of those underrated ones. You've got, Gothitelle, I really like. Very underrated. There was another one I battled further on, but I can't remember which one it was. I'll mention it when I come to it. Okay, so he Mega Evolves, and the Protect from Rotom. Kangaskhan does return straight into that Venusaur slot though, so the Protect doesn't bother him, and it does a hell of a lot of damage, look at that. And Hydreigon Dark Pulses into the Rotom. The Venusaur lives, which means that it can seed my Kangaskhan and start recovering its health. Which is a nightmare. Or if I attack it again though, I'm going to do a hell of a lot of damage to it, so I don't mind that at all. The Rotom cannot protect this turn, so it switches out. And in comes his own Hydreigon. Obviously, because I used Dark Pulse into that slot the last turn, so he's obviously predicting it again. Return, so close to knocking out the Venusaur. Pretty good damage roll there by the looks of things. And I do Dark Pulse straight into that Hydreigon. But it's fine, did a lot of damage. And Venusaur Giga Drains that Kangaskhan, taking as much HP from it as he can possibly manage. But it's not going to be enough to save him next turn, even with the Leech Seed. Unless he's got Protect, which would be useful. Okay, Tailwind peaches out, but still the fastest. Well, Kangaskhan is still like the fastest thing on the field anyway. He does get a Draco Meteor away. But he hits Kangaskhan, which I wasn't suspecting at all. I saw those words and I thought, oh shit, I'm in for it now. But no, he does attack the Kangaskhan, wisely predicting that I was going to use Low Kick, which I was. And I Dark Pulse straight into that Venusaur. So in comes Sylveon, which eats up Hydreigon for breakfast. My Hydreigon protects. All I want to do is use Hyper Voice here. He Draco Meteors into the Protect. Venusaur uses Sludge Bomb. I'm hoping this doesn't knock me out, and it doesn't at all, which is great. Out comes the Hyper Voice. That's going to knock out Hydreigon easily. Venusaur's got the bulk to absorb that. So out comes Rotom. Venusaur protects. We're going to see Hyper Voice from Sylveon. No, we're not. Protect from Sylveon, predicting the Sludge Bomb into that slot. Assuming that Hydreigon can then Dark Pulse the Venusaur, meaning that I'll be home free, pretty much. But of course he predicted that as well and protected. Hydreigon doesn't get knocked out though. However, I can't now protect, or can I? Yes, I can. And another Dark Pulse into Venusaur, knocking him out. But it's coming down to the wire yet again. Hidden power from Rotom, though, will be able to knock out Hydreigon. So here... it's bloody close. Look at that. It's so close. So I have to decide now. Okay, well, he Hydro Pumps and knocks me out. Spoilers. But what I had to decide there was, do I go for the triple protect? Or do I attack him and hope that he doesn't knock me out? Because I wasn't sure that Thunderbolt would knock me out there. And speaking to him afterwards, neither was he. So, if I protect and it fails, and he attacks and doesn't knock me out, I've thrown away the chance to win. If I protect and it works, I've won. If I protect and it doesn't work, nightmare. Or depends on what happens, depends on whether he knocks me out or not. So looking back on it, you wanna go for the triple protect there. It's always worth that risk because you can't rely on him not knocking you out. However, the thing going through my mind was, what if he doesn't knock me out? I've ruined it. But, you know, if I'd have gone for the protect there, I may have got it. He may have knocked me out anyway. I may have got the protect and then he would have been knocked out. Here's this tricky. And he was saying he wasn't sure Thunderbolt was going to knock me out, so he had to use Hydro Pump. But then, of course, you risk missing. And if he'd have missed that, that would have been game over for him. So that was a hell of a finish. Unfortunately, I lost that one, though, so that put me at 1-3. Oh yeah, and he mentioned afterwards that his Rotom was on 1 HP, literally 1 HP. But I said to him, don't worry. He was really apologetic. I said, don't worry about it. That's just with the way the game works, isn't it? And you know, you never know. That might have been a really high damage roll to put you on 1 HP to start with. But anyway, that's that. On to the next one. Okay, round 5 then, against Jack Sprules, the wonderfully named Spagbowl. He had Heatran, Kangaskhan, Aegislash, Sylveon, Thundurus, and Lando T. Interestingly, the first Thundurus and Landorus Therian that I've seen the whole tournament, and I'm on round 5 already. We have Yashto and Mugi True Punch. So I Mega Evolve. I'm assuming that his Kangaskhan is probably going to be faster than mine, but you can never really tell. I do Mega Evolve first though, which is good. It's promising, isn't it? Heatran protects, and I presumably then fake out his Kangaskhan. Indeed, I do. So that's a pretty good opening, pretty good opener. And it also disguises the fact that my Kangaskhan is quite slow, and I get the Tailwind up. So I guess his is quite slow as well, but as far as he knows, mine isn't. Heatran comes out because he knows I can just scold him now straight away. And in comes that one, Thundurus. So the low kick into Kangaskhan from mine. Boom. Bingo bango. Cheerio. And the scold into that Heatran slot. This is the thing with the things like that. I think if he keeps Heatran in, I do a load of damage against him. If he switches him out, I get free damage against whatever comes in. It's kind of you can make the obvious play because it doesn't matter. Unless he protects, and then in that case, what's going to happen? I'm going to knock out the Kangaskhan anyway, so it's fine. I'll just get him the next turn. And I was really lucky with burning him as well. I burnt so many people this tournament. Arcanine comes in, trying to get that Intimidate, and of course it nullifies Intimidate on my Kangaskhan as well. So my Arcanine can survive Rock Slide and Earthquake from a Landorus, but under Intimidate it's going to do even less. And I just got a nice beam off straight away. I guess it was just a sort of he kind of tried to double predict, and I went for the obvious play in the end. So yeah, because I thought, even if he protects, he can't do anything to me, so there's no problem. He can't knock me out. And the burn takes him into a Citrus Berry range. So back in comes, I think that was Kangaskhan. No, that was Heatran, beg your pardon. I knocked out Kangaskhan. Obviously I know what I'm doing here. Thunder Wave then is annoying, but it happens. In comes Snarl. I'm now against 2 special attackers, so I will happily snarl away all day, every day, to my heart's content. Snarl protect, Snarl protect. The Suicune does get paralysed though, unfortunately, which is exactly what he was after. Earth Power from Heatran. come in after that Snarl. Doesn't even take me down to half HP. Ugh. Must be running a bulky Heatran. Given the fact that he had a slow Kangaskhan, I presume his EVs are in bulk there as well, so he must have a bulky team. And there goes the Tailwind. So next turn, which is this turn, I definitely want to get the Tailwind up. It depends whether I get knocked out, which I don't. And a Flash Cannon into Suicune. Again, it's not very effective. And in fact, it doesn't even knock me out, which I assumed it would. I get another Snarl away as well, so now my Arcanine is protected even if they knock out the Suicune, and I can bring in something else to deal with it. This is how I like to play, you see. Just completely weaken them, prevent them from doing anything to you. And then you can just play away to your heart's content. Even if you misplay, it doesn't matter at that stage. I get the Tailwind up, which is exactly what I wanted. So Thundurus can Thunder Wave perhaps next turn, because he knows he's going to get knocked out. So predicting that, I protect with Arcanine. And he does Thunder Wave into that protect, so that was a good shout. The Heat Wave, I don't know, will it knock out Suicune? Let's find out. Yes, of course it will. But I get a bit more leftovers recovery thanks to that as well, which is nice. And I don't get paralyzed, which is double nice. And the burn does that. I was sat there with my pen trying to figure out whether it was an eighth of his HP or not, and I guess it was just about, which is what I was banking on. In comes Hydreigon then, under Tailwind is no problem. He was ready to forfeit at this stage, and I said, it's not over yet. You've got the berry, anything could happen, but it was over. It was over. So that was that. Wonderful, another win on the books, under me, another win under my belt, that's the one I'm looking for. So that puts me at 2-3, on to the next one. It's like a bloody catchphrase now, isn't it? So the next battle was against Kyle Rulings. He is Pancham. He's actually from Bristol. I'm in a Facebook chat with him, and so hi Kyle. He's got Kangaskhan, Politoed, Ludicolo, Gengar, Scizor, and Thundurus. So I'm looking at this thinking, well, it's obviously Mega Kang, but that could be a Mega Gengar for Paris Trap shenanigans. You never know. And it looks obviously like a rain team as well, which I don't particularly like. Seeing that Scizor, I immediately bring in Arcanine. Even if he's got a Lumberry and I can't burn him, I will at least intimidate him. The worry is whether he Swords Dances, which is obviously what I would do in that situation. Or I might do, you never know. You probably wouldn't in front of an Arcanine, would you? Because you can just Flamethrower, it's the obvious play, it's the best play. Fake out the Oh no, fake out the Scizor. Didn't expect that, I thought I would have faked out the Ludicolo. He fakes out, yeah, that one. But that's fine. Because I wasn't tailwinding anyway, so it's all good. So Ludicolo's done his job. He switches out, and in comes Thundurus, I assume, yes. With a little Goku on his back though. A protect from Scizor, because obviously I'm just gonna Flamethrower at him. And a return into that slot, just going for the damage. Another wonderfully EV'd Pokemon there. Back down to under 50%, and the Flamethrower, of course, straight into that slot. So the next turn, I know he can't attack me, so I will just Flamethrower into that slot again. He does send out Ludicolo to absorb the expected Flamethrower, but in fact I protect. I don't know why, I obviously assumed he was going to switch out. Don't really know why I protected. There's a Rain Dance, I wasn't expecting that. You just assume it's going to be a Politoed for the rain, don't you? But I do get to knock him out because of that. Crit didn't matter. I don't know why I protected, actually. I'm struggling to understand why I did that, but whatever. Back comes Scizor. Scizor's a good one to have in a rain team, actually, because you weaken the fire attacks against him. He can get the fake out there, but I can equally now use Flamethrower against that Scizor. He hasn't got the damage reducing berry, but it doesn't knock him out thanks to that rain. And he does get a Swords Dance up, which he's able to do thanks to that rain. Of course, he needs to in this situation as well. Much like me against Arash, I just thought, I need to do something. Suicune comes back in because whilst the rain's up, his special defense is through the roof, and his regular defense is quite high as well anyway. Bullet Punch into Kangaskhan doesn't quite knock him out. And he is Life Orb Scizor as well, which means he does knock himself out, unfortunately. And the Scald into that Suicune slot is not doing a lot, but it does burn me. finally the return is enough to take him out. So, next turn, the final turn, spoilers. I love that name. Here comes Kangaskhan, and he does in fact forfeit. I wouldn't have forfeited there, personally. I didn't expect him to forfeit. I was sat there thinking about what move to choose and everything. So I think you can fake out someone, Suicune's not going to knock you out. You might get lucky, and then next turn you could low kick the Kangaskhan, because I don't think he knows that his Kangaskhan is probably faster than mine. So he could fake out my Kangaskhan, eat up whatever Suicune throws at him. Then next turn low kick the Kangaskhan, eat up Suicune again. Shouldn't be a 2-hit KO. And then you can return the Suicune. I think it was winnable. Obviously it depends what sort of Kangaskhan he's running. I don't know for sure, but I certainly expect him to carry on, knowing what I do about my team. But there you go. Such is life in Stratford. That's 3-3, so I've broken even. It all hinges on the final game. Do I... see how I'm building the tension there? I'm a professional. Will I emerge victorious and keep up my wonderful record of never losing more than I win, even though I've never got more than, a difference of 1 between my wins and losses? Who knows? Who cares? Find out next. Okay, final game, round 7 against Daniel Howe, who had a Rotom Heat, Kangaskhan, Thundurus, Lando T, Cresselia, and Milotic. Again, a Cresselia. I don't quite like the look of that, but I should be able to take care of it with my Scissor. So he leads with them two. He brings Thundurus out, interestingly, and brings in his own Kangaskhan. And what do I do? This is as interesting for me as I hope it is for you, because I can't remember what I bloody did. Let's see. I fake out onto the Kangaskhan. Yes, of course, because I'm anticipating a Thunder Wave from the Thundurus. Fake out does a lot of damage, because of course Kang hasn't Mega Evolved there. And he Scold onto my own Kangaskhan, looking for the burn, of course. And of course I managed to get the Tailwind up, so Suicune thoroughly ignored in that first turn, which is what I like to see. He does Mega Evolve there, going to get his own Fake Out away, presumably onto my Kangaskhan, because I'm going to be low kicking his Kangaskhan, I presume. He actually protects. He might not even have Fake Out. Some Kangaskhan's don't, they have Protect instead for the surprise element. But I do in fact return the Milotic straight away. That's right, I think I was anticipating a Fake Out onto my own guy, so I just thought, well, I'll go for this, and if he doesn't fake me out, then more's the pity for him. His Kangaskhan switches out, and in comes Landorus, which I'm happy with, because I can Ice Beam that. He has done it to get the Intimidate away on my Kangaskhan though, because I'm currently running riot a little bit. He protected the Milotic on the next, same turn. And I do low kick into that Kangaskhan slot, which is doing nothing against that Landorus. It does give away the fact I have low kick as well, so he knows to watch out. It's all about making them fear you. That's what Pokemon's all about. So next turn, Milotic switches out because he has protected. I can just use Return again and knock him out. Kangaskhan comes in, but I do just send a Return straight into it, which doesn't quite knock it out, but it does do a lot of damage. It does mean as well that I can get that Ice Beam away for free. Tailwind really helping here. And I freeze him, and at this point I went, oh, I'm sorry. And he thawed out, and I went, oh, I'm not sorry. Take it back. He knocks off my Citrus Berry, but it doesn't do a lot of damage, so I'm not too bothered about that. The Tailwind does peter out though, which is not the best. He protects with Kangaskhan, and Earthquakes with the Landorus. Now it's a spread move, it's not going to knock out Suicune. Might do a lot of damage to Kangaskhan, doesn't quite knock him out though, which means that, wonderfully, I can get that Return away. Because that Landorus could be a bit of a thorn in my side. Now he's gone. Ha ha ha. If he wants to use Rock Slide and what have you. Because he would probably move before my Suicune. But luckily I knock him out, so I get the Tailwind up. And Milotic comes back in to face down my dream team. See, this is where Sucker Punch is useful, you see. This is where I want Sucker Punch now. Because, oh, sorry about that, it foiled my plans. I do get a Scold though against that Kangaskhan to knock him out, which means it's only the Milotic I've got to face up to now. But he does have Recover. This is why I hate Milotic. God damn it, Milotic. However, I do have the scissor. I have the scissor. And he has the thunderous. Now I'm thinking, is he going to thunder wave my scissor? He probably will, so let's swords dance. However, he does thunder wave the speaker instead. So when he thunder waved, I had like a little smirk, and I was like, oh, I'm going to use swords dance. But he thunder waved the wrong person. I don't mind. I ice beamed him anyway, and I got the swords dance up. I'm pretty certain Melodic can't knock me out with a scold. Let's put that theory to the test. No. Nowhere near. See, that's the thing with Melodic, it hasn't got a very high attack. It kind of relies on the bulk. And the competitive boost, of course, makes it an unstoppable tank. But he didn't get that competitive boost, so up yours. Ice Beam knocks him out. No, it didn't. Bullet Punch did. And Scald protected him, so it's all good. Scald again. I didn't go for Bullet Punch here because, you know, he may crit, but if not, I think I'll be fine with Suicune. I go straight for the Bug Bite. +2 Bug Bite. No problem, because Bullet Punch, of course, is not very effective against Melodic. So that's an 8, the Moranga Berry. Make of that what you will. So that was my fun times in Stratford. I ended up with 4-3 record. 127 people there. With my record of 4-3, I was 60th. Now, this is what I want to talk about. And I know it just probably sounds a little bit like, what's it called? Salt. It's a bit salty. But the fact of the matter is, if the tournament had 128 people in it, there would have been, I think there would have been an extra round of Swiss, I'm not sure on that, but there also would have been championship points all the way down to 64th. I was in 60th. Also, we needed an extra round of Swiss, because with 124 people, you're so close to that boundary of 128, that you end up with loads of people with the same result. So I went to look at the results, and I was in 60th with 4-3. There were 3 or 4 people below me on 4-3. The person in 28th was on 4-3, and so was everyone between me and them. We definitely needed an extra round of Swiss. You see, to have that many people on 4-3, a quarter of the people in the tournament had the same result, and they were all in the top half. There's a lot of people to bubble out on opponent's win percentage, you know? If we'd have had an extra round, half of those people would have been 5-3, half of those people would have been 4-4, and it would have been a bit more fair. I also think that the way they distribute championship points down the rankings is unfair based on that those criteria, because you have that many people there. You have all those people on the same record, yet if only 4 more people had turned up, championship points would have gone all the way down to 64. What if there's 127 people at a tournament? You're only 1 away, but you've set that boundary in place, it can't budge. So you've been in a ridiculous position there, where you're like, well, this has enough people in it, you know, rounding up, to be a 128 player tournament. 127 people, and yet you're saying we have top 8 cut, 7 rounds, top 32 get CP. It's not fair, to be perfectly frank, and I'm not just saying this on my behalf. It's not a fair way to structure the tournament, because of all those things I've just described. What they need to have instead is some sort of gradual thing, like use a function to determine how many people get championship points. So, you know, if there's 64 people in the tournament at the moment, you play a certain number of rounds and, you know, top 32 get CP. If there's 128 people in a tournament, top 64 get CP. That is a huge difference. That literally is double. You can't just set boundaries at arbitrary powers of 2, because the more people you get, the unfairer it becomes as you move towards the next boundary. At 70 people, it's quite fair to use the 64 player rules, but 120 odd, use the 128 player rules, you know? So, rather than it just having those set boundaries, it should gradually increase, you know, the championship point boundary should gradually move down, you know, and of course they'd have to round it to each nearest positions in the case of decimals. So if there were, let's say 80 people in the tournament, instead of just the top 32 getting CP, it would be somewhere between the top 32 and top 64 based on like the curve of the graph that they're using to determine it. That's the way I think it should be run, because otherwise you end up with situations like that, which is just silly, to be honest. There's 124 people in the tournament, and you're using the rules for 64-player tournaments rather than 128-player tournaments. So you're 60-odd people away from the rules that you're using, as opposed to using the rules for the one that you're 4 people away from, which is just silly. And then you end up with a quarter of the people on the same result, which is just unfair. You're relying on your opponents to do well, which is not what it should be about. If it should be about, you get into the last round and you have to win or lose that game, you know? Anyway, that's my rant out of the way. That's my rant at not getting 30 extra CP. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Bye.